Hello guys, so today we are going to start our next learning session of PHP. So today we are going to start, we are going to learn the basics of PHP. So this is the part 1 video, and after this more part means part 2 and part 3 I'm going to create. So there I will teach you the advanced PHP, or you can say the become basic or at some advanced concept of PHP. So in the today's session, I am going to cover few topics. So these topics are nothing but what is PHP, why use the PHP, and PHP features, PHP prerequisite, and the installing the PHP. So welcome you all to our channel, the Planet for Tech. Now we're going to start this one. So let's cover first point, the what is PHP, why we use the PHP, and what are the basic features. So these 4 points, the first 3 points are important for the beginners who are beginners, or you can say freshers, who are preparing for the interview. And in the interview, the PHP features are basically asked if you are freshers. So now let's come to the point, what is PHP? So, firstly, we should understand what is the full form of PHP. So, PHP basically stands from personal home page, but in the theoretically it is called as the hypertext preprocessor. So, as you can see, PHP he written here. So, PHP means personal home page, but theoretically it is hypertext preprocessor. So, it should be HPP, but it is maintained as PHP only. So now what is PHP? PHP is an open source. So whatever the important keyword you will get, I have already highlighted those here. So you can see PHP is a open source, interpreted, and the object-oriented scripting language that can be executed at server side. PHP is well suited for the web development, therefore it is used to develop the web applications, any application which is being executed on the server side and generating the dynamic pages. So initially it was created by the Erasmus Rudolph in 1994, but it took around 1 year to be available in the market. So it comes in market in 1995. So currently, current version of PHP is 7.4. However, the 8.0 is already available, but PHP 7.4 is mostly being used, and the latest one is the 8.0. So don't forget to mention the current PHP version is the 8.0, so which has some new features that I will cover in the later video. But for now, we are considering the PHP 7.4 only. So this was released on the 28th November. So apart from this, there are some basic points that everyone must be aware about the PHP. What is the PHP? PHP stands for the hypertext preprocessor. PHP is interpreted language. Interpreted language, see, guys, there are two types of languages. So either they are compiled language, otherwise interpreted. So if you are having some programming language like C, C++, so these are the compiled language, or you can say Java is also compiled language. Compiled language means, see, let me describe you. Compiled versus interpreted. So compile means, first of all, you will create your source code, and your source code is going to be converted into other form after being compiled. So here there will be one compiler. That compiler will compile your source code and will convert it in other code, that is nothing but the binary code. And once it is converted into the binary code, so this binary code, this byte code, not binary code, this byte code will get be executed by the system. So that is the process of compiler. And the language which is being processed this way is called as the compiled programming language. But in case of PHP it is different. For PHP it is interpreted. It means we are not going to compile the PHP. It is being interpreted by the uh, PHP interpreter. So in my next video, I will going to describe you that what compiler versus interpret in compiled programming language versus interpreted programming language. So there we will look in the brief. So for now, PHP is interpreted language. Just make it remember this is important point. PHP is not a compiled language; it is an interpreted language, and PHP is faster than other scripting languages. So there are other scripting language also like ASP. This is under the .NET Active Server Page. This is ASP. JSP it comes in Java Server Page. Now we are learning PHP. So PHP and ASP and JSP these all three are the server side scripting language. But among these, PHP is faster because it not requires the uh, compilation. It is interpreted programming language. Now PHP server-side scripting language. Yesterday, I have already shown you one example of how we can understand which is server-side or the client-side. So PHP is a fully server-side scripting language, and it is basically used to generate the dynamic content of the website. PHP is embedded, means PHP we can embed the PHP into HTML, hypertext markup language. In HTML pages also we can include the PHP code. Now, next to the PHP is object-oriented language. Object-oriented when this is the main feature of the every programming language. If programming language is having the object-oriented concept, it means it makes it more familiar and more usable among the developer. Now, next the PHP is open source. This is the main point. You can see open source. So there are few terms like open source and paid source. So open source means this is available free of cost for everyone, and everyone can download it and can configure it according to their use. So lots of PHP versions comes with the some default features, and some features are disabled. So you can enable or disable those features as per your need. So for now, don't need to go in in that much deep. We are going to take it very easily, and one by one, gradually we will learn all this concept. So just be in touch and keep patience, and we are going to learn very awesome things in PHP. Now next is PHP is simple and easy to learn. Yesterday I have shown you one example how we can start learning PHP. There are very few syntax which we have to remember and learn, and after that we can feel like we are mastering the PHP. So let's start. So this much about the what is PHP. Now the next point is why we use PHP. So yeah, this question is very generic question. So everyone's think like lots of programming languages there, but why we use especially PHP? So definitely there will be some certain features that we are going to understand. So as we already know, like PHP is a server-side scripting language, but apart from this, this is having some other features also. So those are what? So the first one, it handles the dynamic content. Dynamic content means the content which we have not uh, typed at the time of the project development. The dynamic content means the content which is stored somewhere and being displayed somewhere. So these are the dynamic content these data are going to be stored in a database, and we are going to use those database, and we are going to represent those data in our applications. So PHP basically used or handles the dynamic content. It means it is able to insert the data in database, as well as it can read the data from the database, and it can represent in a proper way, you know, web page. So this way you can understand PHP is able to handle dynamic content. And next point is you can create some sessions in PHP. Session guys, I will cover it later, but for now we can understand. PSSN means for every time whenever we start the PHP, it creates one session that is a PHP says ID that is kind of cookies. So we will cover it later also. For now, you understand the PHP create the session and PHP manage the session also. It can access the cookies variable and also set the cookies. So we can create the cookies and we can read the existing cookies also with the help of PHP. And we can encrypt the data and apply some validation on the PHP, and it supports most popular protocols. So these protocols are nothing but HTTP, POP3, SNP, LDAP, IMAP, and the many other protocols are also there. And using PHP language, you can control the user to access some pages of website here. So this is access management. It means we can define some restrictions like which kind of users will be able to use which pages. Let's suppose you have some you have developed some application, their login is required before accessing the internal pages. So that time you can have the login page, and after login you can have the different kind of role like admin and user and the customer. So as per their role they will be able to access their specific pages. So that kind of access setting you can do in a PHP. Now, PHP is very easy to install and set up. This is the main reason why PHP is the best language to learn. Yeah, as already I have described it. Now, PHP can handle the forms. No forms. So this is the basic building of the every application. So every application is going to have some uh, forms that will interact with the user. Means user will be able to enter the data with some GUI, graphical user interface. That is nothing but the forms going to be developed using the HTML. And after putting the information or adding the data in the forms, that must be stored somewhere in the database. So that role that is the place where PHP comes role. Now PHP will handle those data to store in the database. So this is what about the why we use the PHP. So these are apart from this, there are some specific features, PHP features. So guys, this is the most important question for those people who are preparing for the interview and they are freshers. So you must aware about the basic features of the PHP. So uh, I have grouped here 12 important features of the PHP. So those are nothing but you can see here in the diagram performance and open source and familiarity with the syntax and embedded control, platform independent database support, error reporting, web server support, helpful PHP community and security, loosely typed language. So these are the basic 12 features of the PHP. So let me describe you these features one by one. So the performance. The first point is the performance. What basic we will going to understand the performance about the PHP. So you can see, as we all know, the like I already described, there are three kind of scripting language: PHP, ASP, and JSP. So PHP is PHP performance is more than JSP and ASP because it is not a compiled language; it is a interpreted language. So it gives a result in a faster processing speed and better performance. So I hope this is clear, like the performance of PHP is better than JSP and the ASP because it is a interpreted language, not the compiled language. Now next is the open source. I have already described. Open source means this is freely available in the market. We can download it, we can configure it as per use, and we can enable or disable some features. We can enhance it by putting some lines of code, and we can easily customize it as per our need. So this is about the open source technology. Now familiarity with the syntaxes. So PHP syntaxes is not that much complex. Everyone can easily use it. Everyone can easily learn it. So this is about the familiarity with the syntax. It is very simple and understandable syntax PHP provides. The next one is the embedded. Embedded means PHP can easily be embedded with the HTML tags. Means in the PHP file we can have PHP as well as the HTML tags and other web programming languages like the JavaScript and jQuery. These all we can embed with the PHP. Now, next is the platform independent. So, guys, this is also one of the important feature of the PHP, platform independent. As you know, there are other technology like Java and .NET. So .NET is not that much platform independent because it requires a kind of Windows applications, Windows operating system, and Windows platform there. But PHP is platform independent. It means whatever project or application you are going to be develop, it can be run on the Windows and the Mac and the Linux and the Unix operating system. Means it is not depending on the operating system, what operating system you have developed and in what operating system you are using it. Let's suppose you have developed the application in the Windows operating system and you want to use it on the Linux or Mac operating system. So you can use it very easily. Only the thing is the PHP environment must be available there. If it is not, then definitely it will not work. So only the environment setup you need, and the code, whatever you have developed in the Windows PC, will work same as in the other operating system like Mac and Linux. Now, next point is database support. So it uh, it makes the PHP very rich programming language. So my PHP supports the MySQL, SQLite, and the ODBC. Three types of database connectivity it supports. So MySQL, SQLite, you all are familiar. Now, what is ODBC? ODBC is nothing but the Open Database Connectivity. So, in this kind of database driver comes the uh, MS Excel, MS Access, and other file storage type database comes in the ODBC. Now, next one, error reporting. So error reporting means PHP is eligible, you can say well developed to report the error and to categorize the error. Let's suppose you are writing the code and you are doing some syntax mistake. So it will give you some other error, fatal error or other error. And if you are doing some other error, parsing error, so it will give you some different category of error. So PHP is maintaining the different category of error by having the different constant of errors. So E error you can see, E warning, E strict, and E parse. In the same way, there are others also like E deprecated, E notice. So these kind of PHP errors are available here. And the next one is loosely typed programming language. So guys, you have to understand this one very uh, in a sound way, like loosely typed language. What it means, loosely typed language. Let me describe you it in a brief way in the notepad. Loosely typed programming language is nothing but, let me give you some example. See, uh, in other programming language like in C, C++, and C Sharp and .NET Java, so there you will see if you have one value like 12 and you want to store this 12 into any variable, so you need to define one integer kind of variable like this. So here you can see uh, we specify the type of data what we are going to store in a variable before assigning the value to the variable. Means we are not assigning the value to the variable, but we are specifying the its type. It means it is a it is a tight, or you can say tight typed language. It is not a loosely, because here we are forced to store only integer kind of value in a variable, because we have declared this variable as a type of integer, so it is not going to store, it is not going to take other type of data. But in PHP you can see PHP is a loosely typed language. It means in PHP you don't need to specify the type of variable, or so whatever value you will assign to the variable, accordingly it will give you the type. So you can see if we are going to assign a is equals to 12, so here the type of variable a is nothing but integer. But if you are going to give a equals to any string variable, so here the type of a will be string. If you are going to give a other value like 12.12, so here I can see it will be double, or you can say float. So as per the data, the types get decided by PHP itself. We don't need to bother about the what type we have to declare for the variable. So this is the features which is only available in the PHP among uh, as compared to ASP and JSP. In ASP and JSP you will not find this feature, but in the PHP it is available. So I hope it is clear. Like, what is loosely typed language? Loosely typed language means we are not going to bother about the type of variable, and PHP will maintain it by itself. We just need to assign the value to the variable, and as per the value, it will decide the type of the variable itself. So this is what loosely typed language. Now, next point is web server support. So web server support means this language is being supported by the different kind of web servers which are available in the market. So these web servers are nothing but the Apache, Netscape, Microsoft, IIS, etc. So in these web servers, PHP is well uh, supported. Next one, security. PHP is a secure language to develop the website because it considers multiple layers of security to prevent the threats and the malicious attacks. So PHP is secure because it is server-side programming language, and there are some other few points also that should be that make it more secure. So that will be uh, other video. So I will create another video there. I will describe you the security, what is the security features available in the PHP. Next is the control. So control means in a PHP, for every line or for every module, you will have the good and sufficient control on the program. Means by writing simple a single line, or you can say few of the lines, you can control the complete program as you want. So after developing the application, you will have the sufficient control, enough control on the development. Anytime, whatever you feel, according to that, you can change, and by doing the simple line of code then only. So you don't need to bother like if you have developed the large application, then you want to update few of the parts, so it will take a lots of time. So easily you can do it, but the only thing is that project or application must be developed in that way so that you can incorporate the new features as well. So control means we will have the developer will have the more control on the project developed in the PHP. Next is a helpful PHP community. This is the place uh, every beginners take rest. So helpful community, it means it is very old programming language. It is being developed. It is being developed for a long time, and more in a entire world there are lots of developers and lots of separate PHP community. You can say Stack Overflow is there. So whatever query, whatever errors, whatever question you will face in this while developing PHP application, that is already having few solutions because it has the large community. So definitely it will help you for every errors whatever you are going to uh, face while developing the PHP. So guys, this was about the basic 12 features of PHP. Let me conclude it first. So the first one, the performance. Second was open source. Third one is the familiarity with the syntax. Fourth one, the embedded. Fifth one, the platform independence. Sixth one, control. Seven, database support at loosely typed language. Ninth, error reporting. Tenth, security. 11th, web server support. And 12th is the helpful PHP community. So these features you have to remember, guys, for those who are preparing for the interview and those are freshers. Now the next feature is the prerequisite. So as we know, like if we are developing something, it means you should have something already aware. So same way in the PHP, if you are going to create any project using the PHP, so PHP standalone is not going to helpful to create the project. So apart from the PHP, you must be aware about the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So these are the other language that you must aware about before developing the any project using PHP. So HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So HTML will give you the GUI uh, interface, graphical user interface. CSS will help you to decorate those GUI. Like you have developed one box, and that box must be colored with yellow or red. That feature is available with the CSS. And JavaScript is it's a client-side scripting language, so it will give you some libraries or pre-built functions that you can use to give the feature which is related to the client side, which not require the server. Now, next is the installing PHP. How we can install the PHP in our laptop or in the server. So, in the market, there are different kind of tools available. These tools are nothing but the you can see compact package of other environment. So the first one is WAMP. WAMP you can see here the full form of WAMP is nothing but W stands for Windows, A stands for Apache, M for MySQL, P for PHP. So WAMP is available for Windows application, sorry, Windows operating system. LAMP is LAMP for L here again you can see L means Linux, A for Apache, M for MySQL, P for PHP. LAMP is available for Linux. Same way MAMP is available for Mac. So you can see the first letter is specifying the operating system where you have to use this one. So WAMP is for Windows, LAMP is for Linux, MAMP is for Mac, and SAMP is for Solaris, and FAMP is for FreeBSD, and XAMPP, this is the most commonly used everywhere. So XAMPP is here, X means cross and Apache, MySQL, and PHP and Perl. So here you can see the two P is there, means it is providing other support, that is a Perl language support. So XAMPP, you can use it. This is cross-platform, means any of the operating system it is available. It is available for all the operating system. So in the description of this video, I am going to give you the download link for these tools, so you can download it from there only. Once you download and you install, then you will be able to start your PHP development. So you can see. So here I am going to describe you about the exam because it is most familiar and mostly used in all the operating system. So what you need to do to configure the exam in your laptop or desktop PC, you can say. So firstly, you need to download the XAMPP. So this is binary executable file. So I will give you the link. You can find the link in description of the video. From there, you can download the XAMPP, and at the time of downloading, it will give you this screen. You can see here, this is the first step. So here you can decide like which version of PHP or which version of PHP application you want to develop. So according to that, and apart from this, you have to consider what is your operating system, like it is 64-bit or 32-bit. So as per that, you can download the uh, corresponding respective binary executable file of XAMPP. Once it is downloaded, so you can install it. So just simply click on that and the exe file, so it will give you the first interpret like this XAMPP setup. So you have to see, you can see Bitnami. So Bitnami is here, which this is the community which is maintaining this XAMPP. Click on the next, simply click on the next, and after this you can see the next screen will come like this. So here you can see like this is the optional and configurable part. Here you can decide like what features you want with this XAMPP. This XAMPP is coming with this much feature, but you can check or uncheck the features what you want or not. can enable the Apache, MySQL, Mozilla, so FileZilla, FTP server. No, it is not that much required, and Mercury mail server is also not required. Tomcat is not required. Only you can have the Apache and MySQL. However, if you are installing all these features, this is not going to hamper you. This will be beneficial. And the language support, you can see PHP and Perl. So the XAMPP is the only tool which provides the two kind of language support, PHP and Perl, and others are providing only the PHP only. Apart from this, PHP MyAdmin, this is going to be used as a database tool, and the Webalizer, Fakes, and Mail, these two are not that much useful for PHP development. So click on the next. After checking these options, click on the next, and the next step is here. So here you can select the folder drive where you want to install it. So guys, as you all know, we are going to develop, we are going to set up the environment for PHP development. Whatever projects we will develop, that will going to be placed inside this location only. So I will recommend you never install XAMPP in the C drive. Always install it in other drive in which you have not installed the Windows operating system. So you can make it D drive or E drive, but don't use the C drive, because if you are installing it in C drive, so definitely you will develop a project in the C drive, and when your Windows corrupted or operating system corrupted, so all the projects whatever you have developed will goes away. So for the purpose of backup, you should install the XAMPP in other drive instead of the operating system drive, that is C drive. Clicking on the next, you will get the next screen. So this is the next screen. Simply you have to click on the next, and you will get the next screen. So this is the next screen, and click on the next again. So at last you will get this screen, completing the XAMPP setup wizard. So clicking on the finish, you will get the language selection option. So here you have to select the first one, English language, and after this you can see uh, this kind of control panel you will get. So here you can see the XAMPP version is mentioned, and the all the services you selected while installing the XAMPP is here you can see. So there are Apache, MySQL, FileZilla, Mercury, and Tomcat. So here you have the start option and the config option, logs, corresponding logs you can see. Like you are starting the Apache service and Apache is giving some error. So those errors you can check in the config section, or respective config section. If you're starting the MySQL and you want to check some logs of the MySQL, then you can go to the respective config and log section. If there is no error, so XAMPP is running successfully, it means you will be able to start your development in the PHP. You can see after starting, once you have started, so you can see here the respective button is showing stop, and it assigns some port. Like Apache you runs on the port number 80, and the 443 is just for the SSL purpose, security secure layer, and default port for the MySQL is 3306. So these are the free ports which are available for running these services in your operating system, in your computer. If you want to customize this, so definitely you can do. So you can see the respective config section, like Apache. In the config you will find some ini file, php ini file, and the Apache file. So there you can configure, customize this port, 80 to other ports also. And this is not going to be covered in this video. In the later video I will try to complete it all as well. And 3306, this port also you can configure it, but the default port is, for default port for Apache is 80, and the SSL for 443, and the MySQL is 3306. So these are the default ports being provided by the XAMPP. So guys, this this part we have completed, and you can see we have covered all these 5 points here. What is PHP? Why use PHP? PHP features, PHP prerequisites, and install PHP. So I hope this lecture, or you can say this session, is added some knowledge in your career path and PHP development learning. So in the coming video, we are going to have some other points of PHP. We will cover that there. So thank you for watching this one. Thank you guys, and wait for the next video. I'm going to launch very soon. Thank you. Thanks a lot.